year, along with Philip, to have a question and answer session on all things Jaguar.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's very special.
It's my pleasure. I have to say, I've had the most wonderful day today, and although I wasn't driving an old car, I was driving the F-Type that George stole for a while from me. He went off to park it and went down the road about a few kilometres, but enjoyed it. But it's been a great day, so thank you for inviting me. Fantastic.
Thank you, Ian. Very generous. Now, on to our question asked. Okay, so how did you become a car designer?
I decided at the age of 4 that I'd become a car designer, and it really was that long ago. And at the age of about 14, I decided I wanted to be a Jaguar car designer. I never changed my mind. So, but that was about 50 or so years ago now. So it takes a long time to get there.
Great stuff, Ian. Thank you. And fast forwarding now to the present day, and your latest absolute triumph, the F-Type. Oh no, I have no doubts on that subject. I think it's a brilliant motor car in every possible respect. The styling, the design, the sound is just, it's amazing, mind-blowing. But in this day and age of computers and clever software and everything, how does one design such a car? Can you talk us through the process, please, Ian?
How long do you have? It takes us usually 3.5 to 4 years, so I'll try and shorten it. You know, don't be fooled with the idea that cars are designed by computers and pure mathematical equations, and all the computers do is just speed up the process. When we design a car now, we still actually create clay models, believe it or not, full-size clay models. And of course these models are digitized and we have mathematical information off them all the time, and the computers help us to shortcut the process to the production car at the end of the day. In fact, I was just saying earlier on, we produce full animations of realistic cars that look like real cars on real streets with our competitors before we even design or build anything at all. So the computation aspect of our life, it makes our life a lot easier. But the creativity of them, the spark of imagination, the thought of how things should look, how they should feel, it all comes from in here, I promise you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And in the F-Type, is there anything of the 120? And how much was it influenced by the E-Type?
Well, you know, we've got a design philosophy at Jaguar. It's a very strict one, and it's all based on the ideas of William Lyons and Malcolm Sayer. And we work to them, and I said to the team, you know, when we take this design philosophy, and we start from the ground up, creating something, 2 people and an engine, that's what a sports car is. We wrap around all the criteria we have to, we apply our design philosophy, you will get a Jaguar. Because our philosophy is about beauty and purity. And that sense of discipline that we put into our cars, I like to think like no other. Are there influences? Of course there are. But they come in at the end almost. The lines of the car, for instance, are very sweet, they flow off the wheels. That goes back to a very classic Jaguar line of lines being created around the visual aspect of the wheels. And that's what, if you look at the F-Type, those factors are there, subtle as they might be. It's a very classic shape. And then on the E-Type, of course, when we were creating the car, I did say that I wanted something that I certainly would recognise as being something from that beautiful car that certainly got me enthralled in Jaguar. And if you look at the tail, of course, of the F-Type, it's pure E-Type, really. It may be a 21st version of it, 21st century version of it, but there's a lot of E-Type in there, and especially the tail lamps. They're very modern tail lamps, but the origins of the idea came from that horizontal line in the back of the E-Type tail lamps, and that's where they came from. Of course we've reinvented them, of course we've redesigned them, that's what we do. And I say to people, if you don't recognise them, it doesn't matter. I know where it came from, and most of you will see where it came from, but they have to stand in their own rights, these details, and hopefully they do. And when a 15-year-old sees an F-Type, I want them to get excited about that car as I did about E-Types all these years ago. The unfortunate thing is he won't be able to open the bonnet and change the spark plugs and fix the carburetors, but that's another story.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much indeed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend we are celebrating two great Jaguar sports cars, the XK and the E-Type, obviously. But there is, I feel, now a third great Jaguar sports car in the F-Type. And as I said earlier on, there have been two great designers in the history of Jaguar until now. There is now a third great name in the Jaguar history and story of Jaguar. It's a great honour to have you with us, Ian. Thank you for fitting us into your very, very crazy schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, we're making history tonight. We've heard from the man himself who's creating Jaguar's present and future. Thank you very much indeed, Ian Callum.